Yeah, let me give you a very long answer. I have spent about 30 years working in the financial markets, and I have spent over 20 years working in the commodity markets, primarily in the energy markets, supporting the traders, providing them with tools, allowing them to engage in fundamental analysis and in financial analysis on the commodity markets. And the last 20 years were a period of deeper and deeper specialization and growing sophistications of the models we use in the financial markets and commodity markets for trading and risk management. And I am afraid that this growing specialization at some point collided with the changes taking place in the commodity markets. At the risk of engaging in shameless self-promotion, I would like to mention the main message in the book I have recently published on energy markets. It's a very long book, it's almost 1,000 pages long, and it contains a lot of material, but I don't think that this is the most important message of this book. The pile of brick is not a house, and the pure accumulation of facts is not a book. And I think that what's important in this book is a message, it's the organizing principle behind the research we have to conduct in the commodity markets. And I believe that the commodity markets over the last 20 years evolved into a highly complicated global integrated system with shocks being transmitted between different components of the system, between different commodity markets and between different geographical markets at an increasing speed over the channels of transmission which are constantly evolving. And I think that one of the challenges we are facing is understanding this global, highly complicated system and the linkages between the systems, the way the shocks are propagating through the system from one place to another. And this is incredibly important in trading, because the traders have to see around the corner. They have to understand what's coming, and they have to anticipate the shocks and the way the shocks will affect the market prices. And in order to accomplish this, one has to understand that the energy markets are really composed of three interacting layers. The first layer is the physical layer, and this is the totality of physical assets we use in production, transportation, storage and distribution of energy commodities. And this layer is extremely important, but it can be understood only when one recognizes that it interacts with the financial markets. And the financial markets related to energy include the totality of transactions, which may be physical or purely financial, the system for price discovery and the systems for price dissemination, the trading platforms, the technology we are using in trading and in dissemination of information. And the system is growing in complexity, but it cannot be understood without looking at the physical layer. The most important problem we are facing in energy trading and marketing is that at the end of the day, we have to obey the laws of physics and chemistry. Financial assets can be created with a few clicks of a mouse. In the case of energy and commodity trading, we have to worry about the laws of preservation of matter and energy, and we cannot, we cannot think about energy markets in the same way we are thinking about frictionless, highly developed, and highly sophisticated financial markets. And finally, we have to realize that we are not trading and distributing energy and commodities and other commodities in a social vacuum. We have to understand the system of national laws, and international treaties, the system of rules and regulations, social norms, which determine how markets operate and what is allowed and what is no longer acceptable. And only when we understand the very complex linkages between those different layers, and when we understand each layer, we can be effective and successful in energy trading and marketing. And I was very gratified to see that the program of the current workshop in which I participated it goes a very long way towards meeting the objectives I have just outlined. And this was an exceptionally interesting workshop. You know, I participated in 2 previous workshops. They were very interesting, and they are only getting better. I was talking about the break-even cost of oil in the back-end region of the United States. And let me first say a few words about the back-end. The back-end is an oil-producing region which is located in the United States and Canada. And the US part of the back-end is in the northwest corner of North Dakota, and also a small part of it is located in the state of Montana, just across the border. There is also a Canadian section of the back-end, and it's located in the provinces of Alberta and Saskatchewan. And the back-end is a real American success story. You know, a few years ago, the production of oil in North Dakota and in the back-end in general, you know, was really negligible. And around 2007, the production took off, and now the production in the back-end is close to 1 million barrels of oil a day, which is, you know, an incredible growth. You know, and if you look at the graph of production of oil in the back-end, it looks really like a rocket taking off. And this happened due to 2 critical technological developments. We have known for a very long time, practically since 1951, that there is a lot of oil in the back-end, but unfortunately oil was trapped in rock formations characterized by very low porosity and permeability. So this means that there was a lot of oil, but oil was trapped. Oil wouldn't migrate quickly to a wellbore once you drilled the well. And production of oil in the back-end became possible due to 2 technological developments. One development was horizontal drilling. Horizontal drilling is the technology which allows to drill a vertical section of the well first, followed by drilling horizontally, and the horizontal section of the well allows the producer to access a larger portion of the rock formation. And the second development was hydraulic fracturing. Hydraulic fracturing is a technology which allows for a creation of artificial fractures in the rock formations by using liquids which are injected under very high pressure into the well. Those liquids create fractures in the rock formations, and those fractures are filled with propant. And propant is a technical word for sand. So sand is injected, pushed into the tiny fractures in the rock formations to prevent them from closing once the pressure is removed and fracturing liquids are taken out. And the objective of my research was to determine what is the marginal cost of production of oil in the back-end. You know, and this was done by calculating the so-called break-even cost of production. This is effectively the price which equalizes the initial cost, the cost of drilling the well and paying the landowner a bonus for the right to operate drill a well on his land, with the future cash flows, net cash flows from selling the produced oil. Those cash flows are equal to the value of the produced oil reduced by the cost of operating the well, taxes and royalties paid to the landowner. And the break-even cost is a very critical variable because it determines the extent of drilling activity under current market conditions at the current level of oil prices, and also it helps the traders to anticipate the strength of supply response if prices of oil spike up or spike down. So this is a very critical variable that is being closely followed by the traders and the analysts who try to anticipate and predict the production trends in the back end and in other places where oil is produced in the United States.